I have three watches in front of me. One from Kuoe Kyoto, one from Kurono Tokyo, and one from Credor. Three Japanese watches from three lesser-known Japanese brands, and each one with their own cult followings. The three watches I have here are the Kuoe Kyoto Sombrero 90-011, Kurono Tokyo Calndrier Type 1, and the Credor Kuon GCLX 999. This selection of watches covers a broad range of price tiers, with the Kuoe Kyoto focused around the affordable end, the Kurono Tokyo challenging that mid-range, and Credor hitting the upper threshold of prices. While their prices do vary quite a bit from piece to piece, I find they complement each other rather nicely and is a great example of how watches can fit into a collection regardless of the price. What I like about these three watches in particular is that they're all distinctly different from one another, and each one ticks a few boxes individually. When you put them together, their differences cover for each other quite well, and they offer lots when we think about variety in features, function, and aesthetics. The Kuoe Kyoto Sombrero represents the sports watch of the bunch, and it does so in a way that satisfies both diver and field watch categories with its compressor diver style structure and mix of numerals and indices. It's definitely the most rugged piece here with its predominantly brushed finish, but also serves as the piece with vintage flair from its faux patina and dial composition. It's the watch that can take a beating and can be taken anywhere, and because of that, it acts as the main daily companion. The Kurono Tokyo Calndrier Type 1 is almost the opposite in comparison. It's the more classic and dressy piece, with a focus on refinement, and you won't find any sort of brushing here, with a polished case, bezel, and handset. It essentially provides a contrasting look to the matte nature of the sombrero, and takes the dress watch position, as well as the dedicated strap watch. The dial on this Kurono Tokyo has a mossy green color, a reserved yet interesting choice, and with it comes the ability to be paired with different colored straps for some awesome combinations. Black gives off a serious tone and keeps things elegant, highlighting the watch's dressy nature. Brown lightens the overall mood and appearance, emphasizing the green hue of the dial for an earthy look, and if you pair it with something like a matching green, it just creates a fun look that switches things up from time to time. The Credor Kuon GCLX 999 is sort of the hybrid of the lot, and is the more modern timepiece. It incorporates both dressy and sporty elements from the previous two with a mix of brushed and polished finishing, and can be seen as both flashy yet under the radar when you consider how its bracelets and dial offset each other. Now, each watch also presents something a little different that helps to make this collection a little more unique. The Kuoe Kyoto is not your standard outer bezel diver. Instead, it safeguards its bezel under the crystal, and this in turn bestows it a second crown, which gives it a completely different look from your typical dive watch construction. This also reduces the emphasis on that bezel itself, almost forming parts of the dial in a way, and works to allow its field watch elements to come through. It's also the watch with the textured dial here, and it's not overbearing in any way, fitting in with that tool watch appearance with a touch of interest, so it's more than just a monotonous black watch. The Kurono Tokyo is dressy indeed, but it's more than your simple three-hander watch. It offers a complication that isn't too common in the watch world, being the triple calendar, allowing you to track the day, date, and month, and is executed extremely well here, so it doesn't disrupt the clean look of the watch. The Credor Kuon demonstrates a difference with its internals, holding a spring drive caliber, which provides a mesmerizingly smooth sweep and has become a Japanese specialty thanks to the likes of Grand Seiko. The movement itself is finished beautifully and is on full display with a clear caseback, proudly showing its Japanese engineering. On top of that, this Credor has an integrated bracelet, so while the Kuoe Kyoto Sombrero has a bracelet of its own, the integrated construction is a different take that makes it distinct. Plus, its build carries Credor's DNA, as the links share a similar resemblance with their older pieces. In terms of color palette, these three are rather safe, with a black, white and green dial, but they employ some subtleties which give each piece an extra layer of depth that keeps things refreshing between them. The faux patina on the Kuoe Kyoto sombrero acts as an accenting color to the dark canvas, and together they add a sense of warmth that I find matches well with the theme of the timepiece. In a similar vein, the Credor Kuon also utilizes color on its dial elements, this time blue, and it too pairs well with the white porcelain dial for an opposite effect, giving the Kuon a cooler, colder appearance, and these contrasting combinations give off contrasting sensations which make each piece feel more individual yet look so great together in the same collection. The Kurono Tokyo, despite being green, can be seen as the neutral balance between the other two watches. Simple white print, polished hands with a solid green dial, but it still produces a look that grants another point of interest for this collection. It's the watch with a colored dial, and that alone is enough to make it stand out. But what I like about this green in particular is that it doesn't really overpower the other dials, so it feels harmonious among the Sombrero and Kuon. It's also a shade of green that you won't find too often, and gives the watch an earthy feeling to it, which is again different from what I feel when I look at the Kuoe Kyoto or Credor. Something special about this collection is what it represents. I talked briefly about their price differences and price points, and each watch is like a stepping stone to the next, starting from affordable and working upwards. But it also shows different aspects of Japanese watchmaking and watches as a whole. We get a fantastic starting option on the affordable end with Kuoe Kyoto's first diver in the Sombrero, and instead of the usual Seiko in this slot, it's a micro brand from Japan, reminding us that there are other options besides the big names, and it's one with a clear design language fitting of Kuoe's catalogue. The next step is one of the more interesting ones. The Kurono Tokyo introduces a taste of independent watchmaking, specifically from a Japanese watchmaker, Hajime Asuoka, and the details and execution you'd expect are evident here, but at much lower prices than his other offerings, as Kurono Tokyo utilizes mass-market Japanese movements to power their watches, which isn't necessarily a bad thing at all, since they frequently utilize the premium options. It does mean it will be a watch that is appreciated more for its visual appeal and refined attention to detail throughout, as opposed to the movement itself, but still gives you access to an uncommon complication. For the last step, we get Seiko in the form of Credor, and Credor itself can be seen as one of the pinnacles of Japanese watchmaking. Unlike the previous two watches, it's completely in-house and carries a rich history and heritage behind it. It's the luxury option and most expensive watch here, but still remains relatively unknown to the majority of people, so it has that rare allure to it. And it also has that spring drive movement, a Japanese watchmaking innovation that has become synonymous with Grand Seiko, but it's included here, along with Zaratsu polishing so you don't miss out. The differences between these watches in both composition and brand identity is what makes this group of watches so intriguing. There is no one watch that completely replaces another, and regardless of price and prestige, I think they complement each other extremely well without outshining any one piece. 3 watch collections can be hard to curate, as everyone has different tastes and preferences, but I think these 3 do a great job at offering some variety in most areas, and I can see myself happy with them if I were to limit myself to 3 watches. But I think we all know I love watches far too much to stop at 3. Let me know your thoughts on this collection, and let me know what you think of each watch. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more watch content. I'll see you in the next one.